plant-based chef. Do you crave a little peacefulness and a little mindfulness in your busy day? I do too. And I've got the answer for you, the Buddha bowl. Yes, you can take food preparation and eating and make it into a ritual that gives you a break and a moment of mindfulness. So the Buddha bowl, some people say it's just named after the curve of Buddha's belly and the round bowl, but I like the story in which it's based on Buddhist practices in countries like Vietnam, Thailand. The Buddhist monks take a vow of poverty, and so to get food, they take a bowl, they walk around the countryside, and the members of their community put food in the bowl. And so they've got rice and all the food on top of it, and that is the Buddha bowl. So to borrow a little bit of Buddhist philosophy, I want to take a moment and be mindful with my food. So the first thing I'm going to think about when I'm preparing this food is all the people that went into growing it, picking it, shipping it. This is a bowl full of many, many other people's hours of labor and love. I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to be grateful, because every day we eat food, but how often do you think about where did it come from? Who worked on this for me? And I am very, very glad to take a moment and just remind myself how incredible it is that I'm at this place at this time and have these incredible foods. The other part is that when I make this, I'm going to spread it out in this bowl, and I'm going to compose it in a way that I take some time to make sure it looks nice, and I think about each part individually, and then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat it mindfully. I'm not going to be looking at the internet. I'm going to take a moment to be conscious and be present, because, you know, this is what it is all about, people. We've got to pay attention and be mindful about our food and our health. It's a bonus that everything in this is good for you. Got kale, golden beets, fresh turmeric, made this beautiful dressing. It's got pumpkin seeds. So I hope you'll come along with me and have a moment of mindfulness with this Buddha bowl. And come to robinasbell.com and check out my classes, and we will see you in a second. Let's build a Buddha bowl. Let's get all into it right now with our beautiful mindful dressing. Now the mindful dressing is going to be more, it's a conscious choice that we're going to eat foods that are all really great for you. So I'm building this one in the blender. Now, if you were doing this in a food processor, I would put all the solid pieces in first, but I'm putting the liquids in. So I'm putting in a 1/4 cup of water or kombucha, 3 tablespoons of hemp or flax oil or whatever oil you've got. And then I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds or pepitas, incredibly high in nutrients. Got a couple tablespoons of very live active apple cider vinegar. It is a probiotic. Got a couple big fat dates. That's going to give you some sweetness. I've got some sliced ginger, about a tablespoon. If you like ginger, go a little heavier, but I usually go pretty heavy. This is some beautiful fresh turmeric. Now this is fresh turmeric root. If you can't find it around you, it's definitely worth seeking this out. If you see it in the store, these little rhizomes are what the spice turmeric comes from. And when you get it fresh, it's much sweeter and much more sort of carroty tasting. So it's also really, again, like all fresh foods, just got a little bit more zing. Then I've got a big fat clove of garlic chopped up. And then I'm going to put in about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And black pepper, because you need black pepper to activate the things that are in the turmeric. So now comes the really exciting part where I run the blender. And now we have a lovely sauce that we're going to put on our bowl. There's still some little bits in there, but it's gonna be good. Oh my gosh, so tasty. So in goes my dressing. I've just got it in this little pitcher so I can drizzle it on. Whoops, making a mess of that. So here's my dressing. Now I get to have my moment of mindfulness of building my bowl. I've got my grain here, got an avocado, and I'm going to just show you a few little chopping things. Here's some kale, beautiful lacinato or Tuscan kale, and I'm just going to kind of roll that up. I pulled it off the stems, and I'm going to thinly slice it across the leaves, which I've kind of roll them up into a little bundle so that they can be sliced easily and kind of precisely. That way you get these nice thin shreds, so it isn't so difficult to take a big bite, and also to mix with everything else and get a nice bowl experience with little fine bits of kale. And then you've got these nice strips that you can just chop across. There you go, because we're eating it raw, so definitely want it to be thin. And I've got some purple cabbage, purple or red, whatever you want to call it. Again, just cut a sliver off of the cabbage, slicing it thinly with my knife. And if you want to, you can always put this in a food processor slicing blade, but it's absolutely not necessary. I'll just push this over to the side. Then I'm going to cut up a golden beet, and I've got this lovely bunch of golden beets, and I'm going to just trim off the kind of gnarly part at the top, and then peel it. And this is, I just picked golden for the color, honestly. You could use a red beet, either way, or, you know, all this is extremely improvisational. If you've got some veggies that you want to use, by all means do, but this is a really nice balance, and it's a great balance of flavor. Over there. So then I'm just going to lay this down on a flat edge and slice across in thin slices. And then I'm going to cut the slices into strips. And then I'm going to cut those into cubes. So they'll be a nice little addition to my bowl. And again, you can shred this on a shredder if you aren't confident about having a sharp enough knife. But let me tell you, life is better with a sharp knife. All of your cooking needs will become so much more attainable with a sharp knife. So there we have a beet. And then I have, of course, a trusty avocado, just ready to go. Yay, it's not bruised. So I'm going to cut this into slices. And here is my bowl prep. So I'm going to start with the mindful composition of my bowl. So I picked a wide, expansive white bowl to give me lots of room to work. And I want to have a lot of toppings on here. And I've got, here's my sprouts and my chickpeas. So I'm just going to put about a cup of this cooked farro. Now I bought this farro. It is a semi-pearled farro, and I cooked it for about 25 minutes in ample water until it was tender, and then I drained it. Now sometimes I kind of zhuzh a little bit. I put a little dressing on the grain itself before I get all the veggies in. That gives the grain a little extra flavor. So then this is now my palette. This is where I get to work. So I'm going to start with a few little shreds of red cabbage. And since purple and yellow are opposite each other on the color wheel, I'm going to put them next to each other on my bowl. Then I'm going to go with some kale over here. And you can get loose with this, you can get crazy. Whatever you want to do, you can go with whatever composition you want to. So then I've got some pea shoots. I'll put those sort of opposite. I love these pea shoots. They're so gorgeous and so delicious. And then I'm going to throw on some chickpeas. And I was going to use edamame on this. I did in the book that I wrote this for. But I thought I'd go with chickpeas since everybody loves chickpeas. Then I'm going to throw on some avocado. And I'll say I'll use about a quarter of an avocado on each bowl. So I'll scoop out about a half for this one bowl. And just compose my avocado slices on top of the bowl. And again, I'm taking a minute to be mindful and think about how my food looks as well as tastes, and how much I appreciate that all this food is here for me to enjoy, because it's not guaranteed, and there are places in the world where food is not a given, including our own country. So I am incredibly grateful to the people who grew this food. I'm incredibly grateful to have a life that allows me to have this food. And I'm incredibly grateful that you are here to share it with me. So here we have a quick little bowl assembly. And then on top of that, I'm going to drizzle my dressing, because that's how you know it's done. And here we have my Buddha bowl, which is going to allow me to sit and think about how beautiful my food is. I'm going to sit and contemplate how lucky I am to have all this food and how much work went into all these little bits and pieces being grown for me. And again, I'm going to think about you and how happy it would make me if you make this food too. And I hope to see you over at robinasbell.com or in a Zoom class here in my kitchen.